leave it like this, it changes colour and it doesn't look very nice. Okay, I'd rather colour it completely and fix it in time, but you know, if that's your bag and you like that, that's absolutely fine. So, bash that off. The chucks for the chucks that I'm using, if you're interested, are the one-way stronghold chucks. Chucks are a personal thing, but I did demonstrate one-way for 6 years, and that's why I've got lots of them, so I use them. All you've got to remember about chucks are that if you know, remember that you are standing next to them while the wood's revolving. So, you know, and you do pay for what you get sometimes in life. So just be aware that, you know, quite often in wood turning, spending a little bit more money is a good thing. Right. You don't record that bit. So what we have here now is we've got long grain bowl gouge again, same tool. Just truing up the face once more. I prefer to do this cut than work into it. Okay, if I work into it, I'm not sure this bit will do it, but quite often you can fluff the grain up. Okay, there's a bit there. I know there's only one little tiny bit, but you see it. Quite often it'll be worse than that. Or as we say in Hampshire, worser. Okay, so I prefer to do a cut across here, and I'm going to keep the top surface flat-ish. Okay, careful of this edge. As you can see in places, it's now like a circular saw blade. Okay, speak from experience. You'll end up with like the worst paper cut you could ever imagine if you do touch the side of it. We're going to go on there, I'm just going to do that, close the flute off, and work it down. I've got a rough idea how thick this bowl is going to be. Okay, I'm not worried about breaking out the edge at this stage because the Arbitech's going to do that for me anyway. So here we go. So, make sure it's not there, we're on, and off we go. Now you see I've been quite aggressive on that top surface again. Be careful, you don't really want to lose the circle. It looks a bit odd if you lose a circle, but we can pull that back a little bit in a minute anyway. So same process again. Blowtorch. I've broken something. Right. Don't have your dust extractor on. And I also find, don't wave it about like this because that sends everything up. It's always worth when you're doing this as well, having a fire extinguisher handy, obviously. Or being a fast runner, one or two. Right. Drill. So at the moment it doesn't look much, does it? Whether it looks much at the end or not's another matter. But now we're going to spray it. Just Chestnut ebonising lacquer. Okay, makes wood black. Okay, so just to recap that, I've used the blowtorch to get rid of all the furry bits. Okay, I've not used the blowtorch to make it black. If I was going to use the blowtorch to make it black, I would have had to burn it much heavier. Okay, if I burn it much heavier, I lose a lot of my texture. Okay, now woods that are good for this are woods that resist burning slightly. Ash is good for it, oak's good for it, sycamore isn't. Sycamore, if you burnt that, you'd actually probably take off, it'd end up as loads of just very soft undulations, not so good. But then again, that might be what you want to achieve on another piece with other textures, so sycamore would work well for that. So, we're going to protect the lathe, okay? And what I've done, I've disguised it like a fertiliser sack so nobody pinches it. But it protects the lathe. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to spray. Now, I don't spray with I'm not going to spray with the lathe on. Always using a well-ventilated area. Always shake it up enough. Okay, so when I spray lacquer, I always spray it with a slight resistance. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like if you were cutting in a window with a paintbrush, always spray it like that, because then you're much more, it's much more directional. You'll find you'll get a much better finish, especially with the lacquers. If you ever watch, if there's any furniture sprayers here, or if you ever watch a furniture sprayer, it's done so smoothly. It's not done like that. That's a good way of not putting it on evenly. You won't need to go to the pub tonight now, will you? You'll be like, ooh, happy days. So, we're going to go around there. It's a bit awkward with that light behind to make sure I've got every area. And this is the most exciting part of my demo, because this is the watching paint dry bit.